Hello everyone, welcome to video lecture series of satellite communication. Today's topic is orbital perturbations. In this particular video, you are going to understand what are the factors which actually impact the satellite orbit. Let us begin. First, you need to understand what are the disturbances and why it actually happen and how they are going to impact the satellite orbit. See, as we have discussed, the nature of the orbit which is described for the satellite, it is referred to as Keplerian orbit. And this particular orbit is elliptical in nature when we are talking about the special cases of the artificial satellites which is orbiting around the Earth. But practically satellite and Earth, they respond to many forces which impacts the satellite orbit, which can influence the satellite orbit over a long period of time. So orbital perturbations, these are because of the various forces which are exerted on the satellite other than the mutual attraction between the Earth and satellites. Means you have to understand what are the other forces which are going to impact the satellite orbit. So some of the forces I have listed out over here: gravitational forces of Sun and Moon, solar and lunar eclipse, solar radiation pressure, atmospheric drag, aerodynamic drag, asymmetrical gravitational field due to Earth, Oblateness, Doppler Effect. So various factors are there which impact the satellite orbits. Let us discuss in detail each and every force, each and every factor. First, let us talk about the effect of the Sun and Moon. See, the gravitational attraction by the Sun and Moon, there must be some gravitational attraction and they are going to cause the orbital inclination. Orbital inclination, this is denoted by angle I, and this angle of inclination may vary with the time. It means today if we are talking about, the angle of inclination may be somewhat different, and if we talk about after 6 months, this angle must be varying. So effect of Sun and Moon, these forces would increase the orbital inclination. Initially it was 0 degree F, means it is on the same equatorial plane. Then it can be observed that during a 26.6 years of time, this angle may vary up to 14.67 degree. It means the increase of inclination, it can be restored by using north-south station, keeping maneuver, and usually the life of the satellite is not more than 26 years. Maximum is usually 20 to 25 years. So you must remember how much they are going to impact during the whole life of the satellite. Second is the effect of Earth oblateness. See, you know that ideally we assume that Earth is spherical, but practically it is not perfectly spherical. There is a bulge at the equatorial and flattening at the poles, and this particular type of shape where bulge and flattening can be observed, that is known as a oblate spheroid. According to the Kepler's third law, when we have to calculate the nominal mean motion of the satellite, then you can calculate by using this formula. N naught is what? Under root mu upon a cube. You can calculate it. But if we consider the Earth oblateness, then if you are calculating this particular factor, now the mean motion can be calculated from this formula. You must note it down. And it is equal to N naught 1 plus K1, 1 minus 1.5 times sine square I. This is 1.5 upon a square 1 minus e square, it's raised to the power 1.5, where K1 is the constant. Means the Earth oblateness, it has a negligible effect on the semi-major axis, and we used to calculate the mean motion if A is known, and when we are saying that it has a nominal effect, it means it is not going to impact much along. So when you are considering the Earth oblateness and then you are calculating the orbital period, then that orbital period is known as a anomalistic period. It means, what is the formula for the anomalistic period? It is denoted by rho a or PA. This is 2 pi upon n. So anomalistic period is a period when Earth oblateness is being considered. Next factor is solar radiation pressure. What is this solar radiation pressure? This is very important over here. See, solar radiation pressure from sun's ray, they disturb the satellite orbit. See, for satellites of high electrical power means here the solar panels are used. Solar panels are mounted on this body of the satellites. So even they are very expensive also. Here the acceleration due to the radiation pressure, it must be taken into the consideration when you are calculating the disturbances. And the major impact of solar radiation pressure, it modifies or it changes the eccentricity of the orbit, which evolves over a period of 1 year. Eccentricity means it is denoted by E. If the value of E varies, definitely the shape of orbit vary. Depending, the shape of orbit is different when E is equal to 0.5. It is different when the value of E is 0.75. And this eccentricity builds up for initially 6 months and then shrinks during the next 6 months. That is why the overall period is 1 year. Small variations in the shape may be tolerated for most of the missions if there is a very little bit variations. But for satellites which are in low orbit, it is very important to take consideration of the solar radiation pressure which is radiated from the surface of Earth, because it can be a significant when you are calculating it with respect to the direct solar flux. Then you must consider it. Doppler effect. You are very well aware with this Doppler effect. See, the frequency and wavelengths of an electromagnetic field, they are affected by relative motion, and this is known as a Doppler effect. Doppler effect is dominated significantly for low Earth orbits. It means the frequencies of wavelength and of received signals may vary. While Doppler effect is negligible for the geosynchronous satellites. If the source of EM wave, it is approaching an observer, then frequency increases and wavelength decreases. And when the source is moving away, then frequency decreases and wavelength increases. You can recall what you have studied. If Ft is the frequency of the transmitter and Fr is the receiver frequency, then if Ft is less than F of R, means with received frequency, it means transmitter is moving towards receiver. While in the second case, when Ft is greater than Fr, then transmitter is moving away from receiver, right? Just to recall you. And mathematically, the relationship between the transmitted and received frequencies can be written as what? Fr minus Ft upon Ft, which is equal to delta F upon Ft, or it can be written as Vt upon Vp. Vt is the transmit velocity component which is directed towards the receiver. Vp is the phase velocity. If transmitter is moving away from the receiver, in that case Vt will be negative. You have already studied. See, so in this way you can explain the Doppler effect, which is going to impact the satellite orbit depending in which orbit the satellite is. Next is the aerodynamic and atmospheric drag. See, aerodynamic drag, this particular drag is very significant for low altitudes, means approximately 200 to 400 kilometer. And why is this so? It is because of very high velocity, because at lower Earth orbit the velocity is very high, and this aerodynamic force, this is exerted on the satellite in the opposite direction to its velocity. And in the case of the low Earth orbit, friction is also very high, and because of the friction, excessive heat, it causes the satellite surface, and if this particular heat becomes very high, then satellite may be burned out. It means the orbital lifetime of a satellite, it is a complex function of orbital plane mass of satellite and ionospheric condition. So the aerodynamic force which is acting on the opposite direction to the velocity, it can be calculated from this formula, F, which is equal to 0.5 times rho A into CD into AE into V square, where rho is the density of atmosphere, CD coefficient of atmospheric drag, AE equivalent surface area of satellite, and V is the velocity of the satellite with respect to the atmosphere. See, you must remember it's a minus 0.5. Here the term is minus 0.5. So because this is opposite direction, so you must remember it. And the actual movement of the satellite, if you have to obtain what is the actual movement of the satellite, it can be calculated on the knowledge of that what is the satellite in equilibrium when initial forces and various other forces were exerted on it, right? So in this manner it can be computed. Next is the eclipse effect. You know this particular effect also, solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, because Earth and Moon, they are going to impact a lot the satellite. So a satellite is said to be in eclipse when Earth or Moon, it prevents sunlight from reaching it. And solar eclipse due to Earth, it lasts for several days. That is why it is more important that the eclipse due to the Moon on the communication satellite, right? A satellite draws electrical energy from the solar panel from the sun for its housekeeping purposes, and solar eclipse are going to impact a lot because when the satellite is in the orbit, they are going to draw the energy from the sun itself, and during the unfavorable weather conditions or night out, there is a use of battery backup. In this particular diagram also you can see how this eclipse can be like happen and how they are going to impact, they are going to prevent the sunlight to reach it so that it can be utilized for other purposes. It means for a geostationary satellite, solar eclipse due to Earth, it occurred during two periods. Beginning of 23 days before the equinox and ends 23rd day after the equinox. And during equinox means autumn and spring, the sun, earth and satellite, they are on same plane. During the equinox they are aligned on a same plane. Inclination angle can be calculated, inclination angle of the sun's ray on earth equatorial plane. So inclination angle can be calculated as what? 23.5 sine 2 pi small t upon capital T. Here capital T is the annual period. This annual period is equal to 365 days. And maximum shadow angle at the equinox, because the satellite is always illuminated at the solstice, and it goes the maximum duration of the eclipse during the equinox. So earth shadow, like earth shadow shape, it can be considered as a cylindrical of a constant diameter. So the maximum shadow angle at equinox, it can be calculated from the formula 180 degree minus 2 cos inverse Re upon Re plus R naught, right? It is the same as of the coverage angle. You must remember there is no difference between the coverage angle and maximum shadow angle. So if you substitute the RE as 6,378 kilometer, RO as 35,786 kilometer, so phi max you will be getting as 17.4 degree. So maximum shadow angle is 17.4 degree, and relative position of sun you can calculate from the first eclipse day before the equinox to the last eclipse day, and duration of eclipse whose period is 24 hours. So when you are going to calculate the inclination angle, 1 by 2 of the maximum shadow angle, so this is 8.7 degree. It means now when you have to calculate the value of small t, from equation number 1, substitute these values. So t is what? 365 upon pi sine inverse 8.7 upon 23.5. If you simplify it, you will be getting the value of t, which is equal to 21 days. It means 21 days are required from the first day of eclipse to reach the equinox. Therefore, the total 21 plus 21, 42 days over a period, over a year, the eclipse effect the satellite working. Out of 365 days, 42 days are going to be impacted. It means solar panels of the satellite remain operated at the midnight, and during solar eclipse battery backups remains operative. Means even any conditions, night out, during the rainfall, during ice fall, during any other kind of unfavorable weather condition, and the time and duration of lunar eclipse never remain fixed. You cannot calculate it in advance. You cannot predict it. Thank you so much for watching this video.